Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chapter number 9, Gauss elimination. This chapter is about matrices which you have already studied in metric and FSC. So this chapter is very easy as compared to others you already studied in this course. Move toward the problems of this chapter. Problem number 9.1. Write the following set of equations in matrix form. These are three equations which are given here. You have to rewrite these given equations in matrix form, and then you have to multiply that matrix with its transpose in B part. Move toward its solution. This is the required form of those equations. These are the elements of the matrix, and these are the variables, and these are the coefficients of this matrix. And then you have to take the transpose of this matrix. You know well, transpose is just the interchanging of the rows with columns. This is the transpose, and then you have to multiply both with each other, means matrix with its transpose. This is here is the procedure explained within detail for the multiplication of two matrices which you have already studied, and it is very easy to multiply two matrices with each other. This is the required answer after multiplication. Second question. There are 4 parts of this question, and here 7 matrices are given: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you have to give the answers of these 4 questions, where fourth question, means D, has further some parts, 12 parts. So you have to solve accordingly. First one is, what are the dimensions of the matrices? You know that dimensions of matrices means number of rows multiplied by number of columns. For example, the dimensions of this matrix F is 2 multiplied by 3, and the dimensions of this matrix 2 by 4. Identify the square, column, and row matrices. Matrix B and E. This B and E are the square matrices because their number of rows and number of columns are equal as per definition of square matrix. And this is column matrix C, which has only single column, and this is row matrix G, which has only one row. C part is, what are the values of the elements? You have to find the values of these elements in these matrices. For example, F12, F, this is F matrix. 1 means first row, 2 means second column, 0. F12 values 0. And for example, D32, D, this is D matrix. 3 mean third row, but it has not third row, so value does not exist. B23, this is B matrix. 2 means second row, 3 means third column, this is 7. B23 is equal to 7. And this is D part of this question, which have further sub parts, almost 12. You have to solve by yourself. It is very easy to solve this part. Move toward next question 9.3. These are the three matrices are given. First part is perform all the possible multiplications that can be computed between pair of these matrices. In this case, you can multiply A with B, means you can find the answer of A multiplied B, and A multiplied C, and B multiplied C, and C multiplied by B, and you can also find the answer of B multiplied with itself, means B multiplied B, and also C multiplied by C. You cannot multiply, in this case you cannot multiply B with A and C with A and A with A, because there is some condition for multiplication of matrices. The condition is that for multiplication of two matrices, the number of columns in the first matrix must be equal to number of rows in the second matrix. When you want to multiply B with A, its number of columns are 2. It should be equal to number of rows of A, but it has number of rows 3, so multiplication is not possible. Similarly, when you want to apply C with A, it will not be possible, and it is also not possible to multiply A by itself with itself. Second part, use the method to justify why the remaining pairs cannot be multiplied. I have already given the answer that there is some condition to multiply two matrices, that number of columns in the first matrix must be equal to number of rows in the second matrix. If this condition satisfies, you can multiply, otherwise you cannot multiply. Third part, use the result of A to illustrate why the order of multiplication is important. You know that in matrices, multiplication of matrices, commutative property does not hold. When you multiply B with C and after that you multiply C with B, you will note that the answer is different, so commutative property does not hold here. You can conclude that order of multiplication is very important for this reason. Next problem is 9.4. Use the graphical method to solve. These two equations are given. 4x1 minus 8x2 is equal to minus 24 and minus x1 plus 6x2 is equal to 34. You have to solve graphically. You have to draw the graph of these two equations and find the values of x1 and x2, and when you put those values which you have find by graph into these two equations, it should be satisfied. Means when you put the value of x and x2 in this equation, the answer should be minus 24. When you put the values in this equation, the answer should be 34. Move toward its solution. First, you have to rewrite these two equations in this form. I have just rearranged, nothing else. x2 is equal to 3 plus 0.5 x1 and x2 is equal to 34 by 6 minus 1 over 6 x1. Just rearrange, or this is the rearrangement of these two equations. Then you can draw graph like this. In Excel, if you practice like this graph will be obtained. For example, when I draw these two equations in graphical form, I found that x1 is equal to 4 and x2 is equal to 5. I repeat the procedure here again. For example, x1 1 1.2 1.4. Select these values and put the cursor here at this corner and drag it up to, let's say, 30. And x2, what is x2? I have to apply here formula. First I have to put equal sign, and then x2 is equal to 3 plus 0.5 x1. 3 plus 0.5 multiplied by x1. x1, where is x1? This is x1. I have to click here. Automatically here is shown its value, and then enter. Its value is 3.5. Again press this box and move cursor here at this corner and double click. All these values will be calculated automatically. I have solved this equation, first one, and now I have to solve this equation, second equation, x2. What is x2? First thing, equal sign, then 34 by 6, 34. I have to put also brackets, 34 divided by 6, minus 1 by 6, minus 1 divided by 6. You have to be more careful about brackets, otherwise it will not work. And also put the symbol of multiplication at in between x1 and 1 by 6. At this point you have to apply in Excel the symbol of multiplication, and x1 means this is x1. Press this box, it will click automatically, it will take automatically this value, and then enter. Again move cursor in this box and press, and move toward the at this corner and double click. These are the values which I have obtained to solve this equation, this second equation. I have also solved this second equation. From here you can change its after point values. If you press this one, you can observe what happened, and if you press this one, I take just two figures after point, and also this one. Then you have to select these values, select all these values, go to insert, and then graph. For example, I select this graph. This is required graph. If you observe, x1 is 4 and x2 is 5. At this point where two lines intersect with each other, this is a solution, the value of x and value of y. You have to observe critically to find the values of x1 and x2, x1 4 and x2 5. this is the point of intersection. These are the values of x1 and these are the values of x2, and there are two lines for x2. I have just repeat this procedure here to teach you. These are the values x1 4 and x2 5. You have to substitute back into the equations. Into these equations you will get the answer, into these equations, values of x1 4 and x2 5. When to put these values into these equations, you will get the answer of minus 24 and 34. Next question is 9.4 9.5. Given the system of equations, solve graphically and check your result by substituting them back into the equation. Same procedure for these two equations. When I draw these two equations in Excel, I obtained somewhat like this. You have to zoom this graph, then you will observe that x1 is equal to 404.6 and x2 is equal to 56.5. When you put these values into these equations, you will get the answer 120 and 174. Otherwise your solution is not accurate. If these two equations are satisfied by putting the values, it means your solution is correct, otherwise not correct. First part is solved. And B part, on the basis of the graphical solution, what do you expect regarding the condition of system? You have to tell about the condition of system. A little bit explanation from book. There are three cases given, A, B and C, and our solution matches with case C, this one. These are the types of ill-conditioned system. So our solution of B part, at which he required about the answer about the system of equation, and when we solve this, we obtain this type of graph. So this shows ill-conditioned system. There are three types of ill-conditioned system. First one this, second one this, and third one this. Observe critically that in this case there is no solution. These are parallel lines which can never be meet to each other at any point, so there is no solution. In B part, both lines overlap with each other, means coincide. There are infinite number of solutions, so this is also called as ill-conditioned system. And in third part, these both lines meet at many points, means their slopes are almost same, so this is also ill-conditioned system. Our problem solution matches with this type of ill-conditioned system. Next part is compute the determinant of these two equations. It is very easy to find the determinant, as you have already solved these type of questions in metric and FSC. Its value is 0.86. The determinant of these equations is 0.86. And then solve by eliminations of unknowns. This is the method which is explained in this book. The method of elimination of unknowns. You have to apply two formulas for this method, equation 9.10 and 9.11 in book. By using these equations, this method is explained here. X1 value can be found by this equation and x2 can be found by this, and when you put the values of elements in these equations, you can get x1 and x2 as x2 is equal to 404.6512 and x2 is equal to 56.51163. You can also compare these values by this method with the graphical method. With graphical method, you found that x1 404.6, and here is also almost same 404.6, and also x2 is equal to 56. It is also almost same by both methods, by unknown of eliminations and graphical method. Next problem is 9.6. For the set of equations, these three equations are given here, and first part is compute the determinant, and second is use the Cramer's rule to solve for x. Means x1 you have to find the values of x1, x2 and x3. Substitute your results back into the original equation to check your results. Means when you find the values of x1, x2 and x3, and then you have to put these values into these equations, the result should be like this: 9, 9 and 10. Here is determinant is found as 1. It is very simple method, you already known. And then second part is find the values of x1, x2 and x3 with Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule is x1 is equal to, and this one, and x2 this one, x3 this one. You can observe that this is the original matrix. First column is replaced with the coefficients. Coefficients are 9, 9 and 10. 9, 9 and 10. Other two columns are same, like this. In second means x2 is equal to first column same, and second column is coefficients, and third is also same. And in x3, first two columns are same as original matrix, but third column is replaced with coefficients, and then solve. And you can find easily x1, x values, or you can find easily the values of x1, x2 and x3. When you find these values and put back into the equations given, you have the same results which are given, 9, 9 and 10, means your solution is correct. If these values does not satisfy the equations, it means your solution is wrong. This is Cramer rule, and substitute your result back into the original equation to check your results. Next question is 9.7. These are the two equations given. Solve graphically. Same procedure you have to follow on Excel. Compute the determinant, same procedure, and on the basis of AB, what would you expect regarding the system conditions. When you draw this when you will draw this graph of these two equations, you will observe that the graph will show that this is also ill conditioned system, almost same like previous one. And solve by elimination of unknowns, you have to solve this part by using the equation 9.10 and 9.11 as in the previous question of 9.5. Move toward next question. The last part of 9.7. Solve again but with a11 modified slightly to 0.52. You have to replace this value, this one. You have to replace 0.5 with 0.52. You will observe that when you will solve the previous part, you will get the values of x1 is equal to 10 and x2 is equal to 14.5. And when you replace the value of a11 with 0.52, the previous one was 0.5 and now 0.52, you will observe that now the value of x1 is equal to minus 10 and x2 is equal to 4.3, while in the previous part x1 was 10 and in this case x1 will be equal to minus 10, and in the previous question x2 was 14.5 and in this case x2 is equal to 4.3, means a slightly change in the value of this element, but the result is very different. This is the proof of ill conditioned system. Graph will also show that the system is ill conditioned, and if you change the value of this element slightly, the result almost same. It means the system is not ill conditioned, system is well conditioned. But in this case system will be ill conditioned, which you have already observed in graphical method. Question number 9.8. These are the three equations given, and first one is solved by Navier-Gus elimination. Show all step of the computation. Substitute your result into the original equation to check your answers. I have quoted this one example of this method by another book, Gus elimination and rounding error, example number 3. These are the three equations which are given here, and you have to find the values of x1, x2 and x3. First you have to write these equations in matrix form, and then you have to apply some matrix operations so that first element of first row and first column would be 1, and then second element of first column will be 0, and then third element of first column is 0. You have to perform such type of operations that you get the values of first element of column. First column is 1, and then second element of first column is 0, and then third element of first column is 0. After that you have to make this value as 0, last element of second column. These are the operations. You can do it by yourself, and in the end you can see that this type of matrix you obtained, and here is x3 is equal to -2. When this value you put in this equation, you can get x2 and x1. This is very simple method, Gauss elimination. You have to just make this 1, this element 0, this element 0, this element also 0, and then simply x3 is equal, this is x1, x2, x3, and this is coefficient, x3 is equal to -2. When you put this value into this equation, you will get x2, and when x3 and x2 put this equation, you will get x1. This is the method of Gauss elimination. Following the same procedure, you can also read what happened in these steps by this written in below. Following the same procedure, you can solve this question 9.8, and when you find the values of x1, x2 and x3, then for solving the b part, you have to put these values into these equations, and result will be 27, -6 1.5 and -2 1.5. When you solve this question 9.8, you will get the values of x3 is equal to -6, x2 is equal to 8, and x1 is equal to 0.5. When you put these values into these equations, you will get these answers definitely. 9.9, use Gauss elimination to solve these equations. Employ partial pivoting and check your answers by substituting them into the original equation. Same procedure, but just employ here partial pivoting. What is partial pivoting? In this case, you have to solve these equations as given. You have not to rearrange these equations, but in this case you have to rearrange these equations then solve. Here is pivot element is 12 because it is biggest element. The biggest element, first element is called as pivot. You have to rewrite this equation here and this equation here, means you have to exchange row 1 means first and third equation with each other. When you write in matrix form, you have to rearrange or replace the equation row 1 with row 3. Here is explained with in detail. This is also a procedure explained for pivot or partial pivoting. This is pivot element. This example is different from the question given in the book, but the explanation is better here as compared to other books, so I put this explanation here. So you have to replace row 1 with row 3 so that the pivot element should be A11. Here is pivot element, and then same procedure as in previous case, Gauss elimination, means you have to make this element 1, this 0, this one is 0, and also this element also you have to make 1, and this one is 0, and this one also 0. Final form of equation you will get, final form of matrix you will get like this: 1 0 0 1 0 1. You have to form this these equations just like this type of matrix. A11 1, A12 should be 0, A13 should also be 0, and A22 should be 1, A23 0, and A33 1. Here you can say that x3 is equal to minus 3. When you put this value in this equation, you will get x2, and then x1 and x2. When you put these two values into this equation, you will get x3. Similarly, you can follow this procedure for this question and you can solve this. You have to replace equation 1 with equation 3 because this is pivot element 12, and follow the same procedure. In the right side, author has also explained all the steps, how all the steps, what operation is performed on these steps, and this is also explained here, the procedural steps. When you solve this question 9.9, you will get the values of x1, x2 and x3 as x1 is equal to 1.5 and x2 is equal to minus 6.5 and x3 is equal to 0.5. When you put these values into these equations, you will get the answers like minus 2, 4 and 6. 9.10, given the system of equations. These are the three systems of equations. Compute the determinant, same as in previous questions, and you have already studied Cramer's rule in some previous question, and then use Gauss elimination with the partial pivoting to solve the 4 axes. Same procedure as in 9.9, and substitute your result back into the original equation to check your solution. When you solve this question 9.10, when you find its determinant, its value will be equal to minus 69, and the values of x1, x2, x3 will be as x1 will be equal to 0.985507 and x2 is equal to 1.463768 and x3 is equal to 0.913043. The values of x1, x2 and x3 which you will obtain by Cramer's rule and partial pivoting Gauss elimination method will be same. And when you put these values of x1 is equal to 0.985507 and x2 is equal to 1.463768 and x3 is equal to 0.913043, the results will be 2, 3 and 2. These are the 10 questions 9.1 to 9.10. you have to solve these. This is all about today's lecture. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.